Jones on the bow, a dream come true. That is some moment. Aguero!
Welcome to Sport from the Bleachers. Results and opinions for the fans, by the fans. We're a bit flat again. Queenslanders did a number on us. The only thing that's keeping us up and about this week is the Aussies and how it's so good to watch the Poms get flogged and eat their own words. Ollie Flogginson, as Billy Brownless is calling him, is a dead set flog.
It's the greatest video I've ever seen.
And boys, as I welcome you, Youngin and JB, welcome.
How are you, mate?
Hey, we need to reshare Billy's bake, JB. I know it's on Triple M Rush Hour in Melbourne, but he's dead set to an Ollie Robinson and England a new one. So we'll reshare it on our social media page.
Yeah, it was a good one. I had a good chuckle. That was awesome.
Yeah, light me day after what we just went through last night.
Yeah, boys, I want to get off to before we get onto the Origin, I want to get your opinion on a couple of commentators and just their filth. They've gone to the same commentary school, and I believe they should never commentate again, and that's Cameron Smith and Kevin Peterson. I'll start with Kevin Peterson. He's not sure if he's South African or English. He dead set dribbles. He talks about how good the England fielders are. Mate, they lost the game. Shut up, KP, you flog. And Cameron Smith should never be allowed to commentate a fucking Queensland game ever again in his life. He is a dead set degenerate and should never be allowed on. I fucking had to mute him last night.
Line ball.
Oh, line ball. Not a head high tackle.
Like,
please.
How many years have the Queenslanders given to Gus Gould about, being one-eyed and all that? And look, I don't mind having that slight, if they're kind of cheering after a try or something like that. But when every kind of 50-50 decision, it was like totally Queensland, or if it's going New South Wales, no, as you said, line ball. It was just over the top last night, and I felt like if Joey Johns wasn't next to him, I reckon it's a little game between them two. I reckon he was really trying to get under his skin, especially with what's happening with him and Matty Johns. So, yeah, it was chewing my freaking head in.
But him and Kevin Peterson, they're from the commentating. They're just dead set filth. They should never be allowed on the TV again. But boys, last night, I know we've been chatting, and the social media world is just taking aim at as many people as they can. The cesspit that social media is, but it was disappointing. Hey, I'm pretty flat about it.
Yeah. It didn't. Obviously, Tommy going down early, he's just kind of had that feeling in your gut that was like, it's not our night, like.
Let's stay there for a sec before you continue with that. Has Tommy got a red pen through him for the rest of his career for Origin?
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about it before game one. Like, he's had injuries leading up to the start of the Origin series. He didn't have a lot of preparation going in, and we thought, do we risk it, given his history? And look, they did, and it didn't work out. So, and unfortunately, it was that position that showed on the night that we didn't hold a second centre, a true centre, and with going with Cookie, we've got our opinions around that. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think that'll be it for him, Origin. Yeah.
What's wrong with Cookie playing centre?
Like a lot.
Fuck me dead. Seriously, I'm still. I can't get over it. I'm that filthy about the coaching on that side of things. Look, I agree with you, Hedo. Well, you haven't said you've asked the question, but I think Tommy is questionable from here on in. But that set the tone for the game. and then obviously the 2 tries that probably shouldn't be tries.
Oh, mate, they're not tries any day. Of the
Especially
week.
the two forward passes is
Yeah.
the worst I've seen. And to go down 10-0, heads are down. But Cookie getting thrown in. So look, we'll go back to game 1, and the whole, we've gone with the one hooker, and they learnt from that mistake and gone, well, we'll get 2 hookers for the second game, and he throws on 2 hookers at the same time when you got Murray on the bench. Look, I'm not a footy expert, but it's quite clear that that's a fucking.
I mean,
that's
Murray's
a fucking stupid move.
Showing all of his career, he's a utility player, and Cookie's never really played out of the 9. Like, I don't. Yeah, I think
He's
if
the
you're
only
gonna,
one. Cookie scored the try, and you said it last night, Edo.
yeah,
He scored the try from fucking running the ball up through the middle,
Pick the ball off the ground, mate, like a
hooker, like a proper fucking yeah. Just
look for me on that. I don't think Cameron Murray was fit, which is why he come in with a groin injury, and I don't think he was fit. And I think Freddie was scared to put him at centre because his sideways movement would have struggled with the and I think that's why.
I don't think that's a good enough excuse.
No, I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just saying. But
yeah.
I'm just trying to give some, I guess, some reason behind it. But then go with Birdo on the bench then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Because he was 18. He was 18, wasn't he?
He's 18th man. Yeah, and fucking he would have. He wouldn't have leaked 24 points. That's essentially what Cookie did, man. It was. I felt sorry for him. It's not his fault.
Young, and it's how the cookie crumbles. It's how the cookie crumbles, mate.
Pardon the pun, mate. Very good.
I can give me the joke of the week.
Mate, another thing I just want to point out, right? Payne Haas, gun player, right? Gun player. Was he protecting his teammates?
What do you mean?
Reece Walsh.
Why wasn't he fucking bashing them? He's the biggest human, the strongest human. Is he not, when he goes down and just lays his hands on Reece Walsh, just because Reece Walsh has got to play for Brisbane this weekend?
You hope not, mate.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you hope not, but there might be that element, You
look at Tino. Tino's, I hate Tino, but he's taken out Appy Coruscant by breaking his jaw. I'm not saying I want Reece Walsh's jaw broken, but
I do.
Well, there you go. Mate, I just think
he's you know what he is? You know what he is? And I've seen it in a tweet today. He's Jerome Luai at fullback without 2 premiership rings.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Because if Luai carried on like that, right, the way he did, right, he'd be all front page. He'd be front page news down here, mate.
Yeah.
The media, like I'm telling you, I sent it to you last night. There's a media backlash. There's a media-driven hate in this state, right? The media get behind Queensland. They did not once jump on Billy Slater for sacking Dane Gagai and sacking Kalen Ponga. Not once did they jump on it. The New South Wales media jumped on it and tried to make it a story. Queensland media backed Slater. I'll ask you this. When have the New South Wales media, and I'm talking Buzz, Hoops, and stupid fucking Foxtel, jumped on board and backed New South Wales and Freddie? Anyone? Anytime?
Oh, maybe the appointment of Freddie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I think that's the narrative. They do it all the time. And then,
now there's this big push by Buzz Rothfield to clean out New South Wales Rugby League and get a full intervention on why New South Wales Rugby League is so bad. Who's his vendetta against now?
I don't know. Look, it's a fair point. But where's the, was there much backlash or was there more support for Freddie when he chose Moses?
No, because they were like, why didn't you choose Reynolds? Why don't you choose Hines? Like, yes, okay, they did support him a little bit, but there's always this narrative around who they should have picked instead of who they've picked.
Yeah.
I think we could go back through Twitter and back through all Paul Crawley's stories, all Buzz's stories, and all Hoops' stories. Never about, yep, this guy deserves to be picked. It's always the guy that didn't get picked.
It's
the
just
Courier
so
Mail.
that
Do you know what I mean?
It's just so that they can lay claim to an excuse.
Yeah.
If we lose,
yeah,
and go,
100%.
see, I told you.
Yeah.
It's never. Yeah, you're right, and it's hard to stomach, I suppose, as a. And you can tell the Queenslanders just sit back and watch it all happen. You know, like
Absolutely
I've heard it on Matty and Cooper's little podcast they got, and Cooper just sits back and laughs and goes, "It's awesome to watch all you guys just freaking your heads are spinning, you're arcing up at each other, and they're just doing their business."
And boys, I said it to you in the chat last night. Billy's so relaxed. He's so confident in what he does. And Freddie was that 4 years ago, right? And I think the media's got to Freddie. And he just didn't seem as relaxed for me this year and as accommodating.
No, it would definitely get in your head, you know, like you just feel like you cannot do anything freaking right.
Yeah. And I think we said it 3 weeks ago, or when the first Origin was on. I do think the Nico selection was media driven because he's a nice guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, where's he going to play? Is he a better halfback?
Than Moses?
Yeah.
No, look, the only spot I think for him, if Mitch and Nathan are available, is the 6, and obviously Luai's got it, so you can't just throw him in around somewhere else.
I don't know. Fuck, man. He's a Dally M player.
Why was he picked, Scott? Tell me why he was picked.
Dally M player of the year, like it, and
Okay,
in
but
form.
but
then like,
7,
but he gets rinsed. There was one game he gets rinsed for the Sharks, but I look, I know what you're saying. I'm
happy to be proven wrong. That wasn't a media
it's just yeah. I don't know, mate. A bit of that and a bit of Freddie, man. I'm off Freddie big time at the moment.
Don't be off Fred. He's still our best. He's still our best. I want to ask you this, right? And I suggested, or we suggested, I won't take credit, we suggested that Matty and Andrew Johns take over and coach the Blues, right? They're off each other, but it is what it is. You saw last night, Thurston, Inglis, and all those boys are at Thurston had the headphones on. Is it time to get the band back together? Sort of like 100%. Joey, Bedsy, Willie Mason.
Yeah.
Fuck. Who else can you throw in there? Boyd Cordner, someone like that, you know?
Because that's the thing, you know, like you look at, I think it was game 1, half time, Smith, like he was on the commentary team at half time. He's in the rooms addressing the team, and Billy's just sitting there watching. So you know, it's that collective. Yeah. It's that collective group of legends in that arena. That everyone will be vibing off that for sure. Like we need to be doing
that. Like Joey's got to put his hand up, mate. Stuff sitting in fucking Channel 9's box, saying we're shit. We should have done this. We should have done that. Put your fucking money where your mouth is, like Freddie did.
Isn't Alan Langer? Is Alfie Langer the fucking water boy for Queensland?
Yeah. He's a water boy for
get on the drink for 7 days
for the Broncos. But they always say that he's actually just the assistant coach out in the field. If you watch how much time he
spends more time on the field than anyone.
Yeah, he's always behind the ruck, and he's always he's the second halfback, really.
Yeah.
So we do have to move on from Origin because it's flat. But who coaches? Give me your coach. Because for me, it's got to be someone. Origin is too big of a beast for it to be an NRL coach.
No, it can't be. I think it's got to be a similar setup to Queensland. Like you can tell that it's not just Billy. You know what I mean? Like it's not a single coach.
Yeah,
Billy's the front man.
Yeah, he's the front man. Very good. Yeah,
but he's got JT. He's got Cameron there, and I'm sure Cooper's hanging around. So maybe it is like a Bedsy or something like that to be the front man, and then the Johns brothers, where they're at the back, you know.
Yeah, running, training.
Yeah.
Young, for me, it's the Fergie mould. He's the face of everything. It's
Yeah.
how Jurgen Klopp does it. It's how
Yeah.
Pep does it. Put the
Hence-
best coaches around you, and you just be comfortable in
just
your own
manage-
skin.
You just manage the people.
Yeah, it's how Mal did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, look, good question. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know who they use.
But I think it needs to be
I
that
don't know.
similar setup. You can't.
Yeah.
But anyway, it'll be so Teddy next year or not?
Nah.
Last point on that. No, it has to
Go
go.
on.
Yeah.
Got him in.
Yeah.
Dylan Edwards wouldn't have thrown the ball out last night. Like, Jesus Christ.
He's got to go. For me, I look. We don't need to talk about the Luai thing because it's pretty shit. If people on social media are doing what they say, yes, he probably should have handled it in a better way. But if you're getting told someone's going to come and kill you, you're getting death threats to your family and whatever else. It's pretty hard way. It's pretty hard
You can't just not say anything.
to not say anything, you know. And I get he probably should have done it in a better way, but like we're also not in his shoes about how he should handle it as well, right?
No, and he's just lost a series for New South Wales. So
and he's upset and he's hurt.
I'm not condoning what he's done is correct, but you don't know what it's like either. So
I think I've been reading a lot of media today, and they're all literally everyone's apologised for how they handled it first thing this morning because again they go off they try and suit their own narrative and they've got called out on it. So
and Ben Fordham on 2 GB, is it? And Ben Fordham, what he said.
He had to fall on his sword big time today.
Yeah.
Ben Fordham.
He's the biggest voice in Sydney as well. Yeah.
He took Luai to task. So did Vossi. So can't wait for Vossi in the morning to literally fall on his sword about it. So it'll be interesting to see how that wraps up. But boys, he's probably the fall guy, for game 3.
It's probably still Nathan Cleary's fault we lost last night.
Yeah, mate. Somehow they'll blame Cleary.
Look, yes, I think he will be. It'll be him and Fittler, and Cookie will probably get dragged through a little bit, but yeah.
So
no, you're right. Luai will be it.
I think Luai doesn't play game 3 for me just to suit the media narrative, right? But Tedesco probably gets a final game. But I think probably Young and Nico comes in. Well, Cody seems to get injured around the big games. Him and Latrell can't get themselves up for a big game.
Yeah, so maybe they'll go Nico, but then what does that say,
100%. What does it say, mate? Do you play Birdo there then?
Yeah,
I
reckon.
I think so.
To save face, I reckon you go Birdo.
Campbell Graham into the centres?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I suppose Latrell if he gets up, but who knows?
Mate, don't play him.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother
now. Mate, you're playing with fire,
South need him. South need him.
It's interesting how the $1 million player nicks a calf the day before a game and then still got said that it'd only be a couple of days and now he can't get up for the games. Real interesting. But anyway, so boys, is that the changes?
I think so. I think that's the most sensible change. The most sensible ones, yeah.
I think Hudson Young goes, Liam Martin starts, Tyson Frizzell goes, Cameron Murray starts.
Why didn't Liam Martin start last night?
Mate, I think Regan Campbell-Gillard comes onto the bench for Stefano. I just don't think he had an impact. I think off the bench, you need a proper impact. I don't think he had that.
Yeah.
And I think Campbell-Gillard probably gives you some punch off the bench. I think he comes in, which probably means, you got that Kaloa Matangi from South to have a go. Mate, and Spencer
you need to
Lenion.
get him in.
Give Spencer Lenion. You can play back row. He can play front row.
Yeah.
And he'll run off the back fence.
Yeah.
He's your guy that'll hurt someone like Tino does.
Yeah. Get rid of the Fox as well.
Yeah, I probably think Critter keeps his spot then and plays on the wing.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Around this Robbo.
There's way too much hype around Fox. Way too much for what he's delivering at the moment.
He's delivered nothing, mate. You got punched.
But he had Cookie next to him last night, man.
Yeah, but then Scott, out of the backfield. Tell me was he good out of the backfield then?
Yeah, but
was he Brian?
I don't know, man. I know he's got to come in looking for the ball, but
yeah. So does Critter do that? Like you got to make decisions, dude. Are we making decisions on just because he's the Fox?
No. Well,
would Queensland select him every day of the week?
No, I don't think so.
Fuck, we could argue about this all day.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know.
Let's move on to JB. Why is the AFL so flat at the moment? What's doing with his bye? 3 rounds of buys.
Yeah,
Please.
they do it every year, and it does slow it up a bit. Yeah, because everyone gets their bloody 10-day breaks and shit, but yeah, it is a bit flat at the moment.
It just seems like there's no momentum in it. That's lost. Like the season was so good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't help when you've only got 6 games a week or whatever at the moment. But look, Carlton getting wins and finally, and maybe it's doing them.
Are
well.
Carlton fans lining up for grand final tickets again?
Yeah, they're just pulling their memberships out of the fire at the moment, and
aren't they a fickle bunch?
Yeah,
Vossi can all of a sudden coach.
I know. Who'd have thought, eh?
But I did want to ask, and I know they spanked Gold Coast, but mate, the Gold Coast are horrible. JB, every year we get. I was on them. I was going that they were going to make the finals, and then they get. If they want to do something, they've got to beat teams like Carlton where they are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just Gold Coast, man. Something just doesn't work up there. Too many distractions, you know. Like they're so up and down. It goes the same with the Titans as well, you know. But
yeah, well, they've just sacked their coach as well, haven't they? As we forgot to mention the footy part, but they've just sacked their coach as well. And Desi's gone up there. Is the Gold Coast Suns opening up for Dimmer?
Potentially. I don't know. I heard these rumors around that Port have spoken about him, and they haven't specified like a head coaching role, but maybe like a football manager role or something like that.
Yeah, right. Overseeing Ken Hinkley.
Overseeing, because at the moment they don't want to say let's line you up next coach at the moment. I mean, Port Adelaide are fucking firing.
Yeah, mate, they're top of the league, aren't they? Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so there's talk around. There's rumors around that. That's why he was kind of approached early and said, "Look, just if you want, just call it now, and we'll sort you out with something, I suppose, because that's his his old club. So
yeah, he's a Port Adelaide legend.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Looks anyway. At the end of the day, I mean, if people have got the money, anyone will make a play for him. Like he's worth it.
Yeah,
and
because he
Gold
can
Coast might, but yeah. But I don't know if you would want to get involved with Gold Coast, to be honest.
Mate, it's God's waiting room. It seems like everyone who goes there dies.
Yeah, they just haven't recovered from when they put all their eggs in one basket with Gary Ablett.
Yeah. And mate, your mate Koch stood up again. Is he getting better with age?
I think he'll retire, to be honest. I reckon.
You do?
At the end of this year, yeah, I think so. Yeah, look, I watched the game and he played very well, and you could see there was elements of, like he's getting a bit more of the ball given to him. I suppose.
Well, they put him around the ball more, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They kind of just gave him a free pass, I suppose. But no, look, he's done well to get to 300. But yeah, I reckon he'll retire along with Rewalt. I reckon Rewalt will give it in as well.
But I guess for those listeners and viewers in Sydney, we didn't dwell too much on his 300th last week, but he did change the culture at the club. Yeah, and you hear Dusty and you hear Rewalt and those sort of players talk about him. He did change the way they play, and he took one for the team basically, didn't he? To be honest, and changed the way his game's played as well.
Yeah, no, definitely did. Like he was always an older head on his shoulders. Like when he was young, when he first walked into the club, like he was basically straight into the leadership group after the first couple of years, and especially when he took over the captaincy all those years ago. People have said that he's just galvanized everyone. Like he's done the world for Dusty. Like he's taken him in to
Well,
his own
Dusty
home.
says that too. Dusty openly admits that.
Yeah, he's basically lived with Cochin for a lot of his career, and the Cochin just really steered him on the straight and narrow because he was fucking up a bit early doors. Martin was, and Cochin had that ability to see the potential in him, and he did that for a few players. So he's really that old head that galvanised everyone, and he's been awesome for that club. And Brownlow medalist and 3-time premiership captain. So he deserves it all. Yeah, he's good.
And Tim Taranto's still not in the top 150 players.
I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait for him to make the All-Australian team, and that All-Australian team better be 151 players if he's going to make it. So,
Mate, he's probably I don't know. Next week I'm going to have the votes, but the coaches, he got another 10 coaches votes.
Yeah,
So I think he's leading the coaches award, isn't he?
I think he is at the moment. Yeah.
Well, he'd be leading Richmond's best and fairest. Yes.
Yeah.
And he'd be getting Brownlow votes. He had 38 again on the weekend in the wet.
Yeah, he's dominating, and I think he's really taken a few comments personally. So he's and they're letting him off the leash as well. Like
Aren't
they're not
they?
protecting
They're
him.
giving
They're
him
just saying, "Go on."
Yeah.
So he's third favourite to win the Brownlow. So he's definitely
And he's not in the top 150 players in the comp.
No.
All right, I want to ask you both. There's not much to talk about in the AFL because it's pretty flat. Richmond are 2 points at the moment, 2 points outside the 8. With the Adelaide have got a game in hand on them, and Geelong have got a game in hand and playing as we speak, and they're 2 points behind Richmond. Can Richmond make the 8?
Yeah.
And if they make the 8, do they give it a shake?
No.
No.
No? You don't think their footy stands up at finals time?
I think that they still just rely on Jack a bit much.
Yeah.
And it's just getting to that time where like they've got good gun midfielders and backmen and that, and depends on what Tom Lynch is doing as well.
I was about to say, so if Lynch comes back, does that change your opinion?
If Lynch comes back and he can get back to his full fitness, and therefore, I mean that's how Jack started to play well at the back end of his careers. When Tom Lynch first came to the club, the focus was off Jack. Jack was just roaming around, and he was playing a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I reckon they'll just fall in.
Yeah, 7th or 8th.
And if they get a full team, I reckon they might upset someone, but I don't think that they'll go too far. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So they can't beat a Port Adelaide, Collingwood, Melbourne, or Brisbane. You don't think?
Brisbane maybe, but I don't think Melbourne are hitting their stride at the moment, and Port Adelaide and Collingwood know what they're like. So I don't think that upset. No.
So it's 31-30 at the moment. I don't know whether that's updated yet, but second quarter Geelong 31, Melbourne 30 as we speak.
Yeah.
Down at the Cattery. All right, boys. So this week.
And did you? Sorry, just before we go off that game, Jeremy Cameron. Did you hear about that?
No.
He's been knocked out cold. Stretch it
in
off.
Tonight's game?
Yeah, it happened in the first quarter. Friendly fire with Gary Rowan. Like, it's pretty scary. He wasn't moving for a long time.
Oh, shit.
So it's just down to Hawkins now. Yeah, stretch it off. So he'll be out for a couple of weeks, I would say. But
fuck, that's not good for them because Danger's out with a fucking cracked rib and punctured lung, right?
Yeah. So interesting couple of weeks for them.
Yeah, wow. So this is the last round of the last week of the bye rounds, and then we can get back into the good footy and finish off the season well. All right, boys, let's get on to something real happy. I said at the start in the intro, how good is it to see whinging Poms get fucking thrown at? It's fucking so good.
especially after declaration, eh?
Oh,
It's
you
good.
fuck!
It's
Absolutely, you red, you fucking rang a flog. Think you're a genius. Baz Ball is a myth. It's a fucking myth. Fuck off
so
with
good.
your Baz Ball.
It's so good, especially like Stokes, because Stokes
Oh,
is
it's
that.
the best.
Like, look, he's a good player, and he does make it that competitive. Without him, he's like the Kevin Peterson, I suppose, when he was playing.
Yeah. No, good.
But
Yeah.
but so it's good to have him around, and it's good. He'll give it to us, we give it to him. But there's nothing better than seeing a cocky declaration and it just falling, and especially, I mean, the last day I
Oh,
was watching it. And obviously it was a replay of the day before, and then they were showing the rain, and I thought, "There's no way they're getting on this field."
no.
And so I actually called him over, and I thought, "Oh, I'm not going to hang around for this." And I woke up in the morning, I thought, "Are you bloody kidding?" So
Moth.
that's made it even better, So
Only got it done with a couple of overs to spare. Now we talked about Ollie Flogginson. Now he's had a crack. He's had a crack at Uzi after Usman's just
142.
knocked 140. He's knocked the ball to every part of the ground, and Ollie Robinson's giving him a send off.
Yeah.
Please. Then he's come out and made the statement that we have 3 number 11s, and once we get past Pat, basically the innings is over, and that's settled real well because Pat and Nathan Lyon put
Pat
70
Nathan
odd on
Lyon.
and won him the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I love that shit because he won't play
Fantastic.
again. Ollie Robertson won't play again because I think they'll select Mark Wood to get a bit of pace through. So I think Ollie Robinson's gone, and so he should be. That's funny.
He doesn't do too much, does he? To be honest,
Mate, he wouldn't be able to get us out with a taped up tennis ball, I don't reckon.
What did Billy say? He rolls 125 clicks or something and does
Yeah.
fuck all or something.
Pie carters, he called him.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he says, if he doesn't get 10 Ks more pace, he'll be fucked off back to Sussex. But
No, it's great. It's great to get the first mark on the board, especially over there. It's awesome.
Absolutely. I was going to say on the English turf. That's
and boys,
very good.
We did it with our 2 best batters, number 1 and number 2 in the world, in Labuschagne and Smith, scoring 35 between them. So you've got to tick them up for one of them, if not both, for 100 in the next game or two. Like they're going to score runs, right?
Yeah.
So we're probably 150 to 200 short in runs, opportunity for runs. So I think we've got more upside than what the cockiness of England do, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, definitely do. And I think you'll see Nathan Lyon really taking over at the back end of this series. Now, question without notice. Does David Warner get his fairy tale SCG? Does he make it there?
Yeah, 100% he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
You reckon?
He's I'll tell you, he's got a knock. He's got a decent knock in him. He's got a knock in him around the corner. He scored 35 odd in the second innings and looked pretty good. I'm backing him. I'm backing him. I'm a big Dave Warner fan.
Yeah,
a big Dave Warner fan.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's 2-1 there. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I get why he's not, and he does have to score runs, but I do think he's good. He's good in the field, and who are you going to bring in? Who comes in to open? Hit me with it.
Look, that's a hard answer, to be honest, and I think that's what's saving him.
Yeah, so I think
right?
you can,
and that's
I think you can bat Travis Head there, but then who comes and bats in the middle order? Who's knocking down the door, scoring runs?
Yeah, as I said, that's his issue. I mean, that's the issue, and I think that's what's keeping him there. It has kept him there for the last 12 months.
And you know what? He's smart by saying, I'm going to retire if I get a chance.
Yeah,
I'm going to retire because
mate, it puts that back in the selectors back in my gun. All right, we'll just carry him there, and then he'll be done with him.
100%, JB.
Yeah.
It says to them, all right, we've got a young bloke that can come through and bat in the middle order. Right, we'll get him in
ready for
as 12th man throughout Australia.
Yeah.
And then, we get an injury or whatever, he can go in and play. But I think it's smart from Warner, to be honest.
But I still don't like that idea that a guy's out there batting away thinking, I'm retiring soon kind of thing. So I don't know. Because you like if when you feel like a lot of the top order batsmen bat better when
Under pressure.
they're under pressure to keep their spot,
Yeah.
And if he feels like he's not, I don't know.
No,
But you're
look,
right.
I don't, but I think he's driven to perform in England, right? And I think that's what's driving him. I think he's driven to perform, and mate, he's playing for Australia. Young and knows, and I'm a big Dave Warner fan, and always have been, and always will be.
Yep.
All right. So did Australia win 5-0?
No.
Oh, I'd like to say yes, but I don't think so.
Good, because they will now. Because I was waiting for the mock to say something. I was waiting. I don't think we lose a test. I'll say that, and I think a test we'll lose. A test will be a draw with rain, and I think there'll be a couple of draws, but I don't think we lose a test.
Okay.
I'll say that. I think we win at Lords. We go 2-0 up, and there's a test washed out with rain.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I don't see us losing at Lords. It'll be a draw or we win.
And we're going with the same team, obviously.
I think so. Well, you can't. Do you change?
Nah.
No, not after that.
Nah, I don't think so.
No.
But it's good. It's good to see. It's good to get a win over them, tell you.
And what about my man Aussie? Aussie batted every day of the test. Batted every single day of the test. All 5 days. He was out there at some point with the bat.
That's pretty full on, isn't it?
There's only been 8 others in the world. There's only been 8 others in the world of cricket to do that, batting on every day of the test match.
So he's underrated, right?
Massively, mate.
Oh, mate, yeah. He is.
He's underrated.
So underrated. It's funny how, he's every time he might have one bad innings, they're the first to get seen the door.
Yeah.
And then the only time he ever comes back in is an injury, right? So we'll just throw him in just as a band-aid solution. And he goes out and makes 150, and they're like, fuck, we better keep him in. He's never been selected based on his ability. It's always been as a backup plan, and he's just proven them wrong.
And look, he polarises opinions, right? And there's I don't know how much you've seen of the last sort of thing around the celebrations and that. He's of Muslim faith, and they stop the celebration, they stop the champagne and whatever else so he can get in the photo. It's blown up a bit with some old school cricketers saying it shouldn't happen. But it's 2023, lads.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's the way of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see it, mate. You saw it with Sadio Mane and Mo Salah when Liverpool won the Champions League and that. Like,
yeah, they were fasting, weren't they?
Yeah. And it happens all the time. I think we need to get over that stuff, And I think that's why he polarises opinions, JB, which is why you're saying he's always in the chat to be sacked.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a few cricketers like that. Like you got to be in the clique, I suppose.
Yeah, and mate, it is what it is. All right. Well, I want to run with Hedo's hero just to finish off with that, and it is the Australian cricket team, and I guess I'm going to stick up for a local boy in Paddy Cummins, and if we win the Ashes in England, Penrith have to build Paddy Cummins a statue, young out here, out west, JB, because what he did in that first test, he was hauled across hot coals on the first day for how his field placements were, and we were all this and all that. And then he goes out and wins the game off his own bat. He's one tough dude after the stuff he's gone through over the last couple of months. But it's Pat Cummins in the Australian cricket team for me, and he deserves a statue in Penrith if we win the Ashes series for me.
It's just good to see. Like he's obviously he's an awesome bloke, right?
Yeah.
But it's good to see a bowler as a captain do well, because when he got selected, it was like, hey, you can't be a bowler running finally to fine leg and be able to see what's actually going on and all this. It's not going to work. And yes, all the criticism you had the first few days of the test about being just a reactive defensive captain, and to be able to do that, and then they're all hail how good he is. I just think that
I reckon
it goes with that mold in the dressing room. Like, you got to change, and you just got to hand it to people who are. He's obviously capable of doing it, so give him a crack.
I reckon it's paying. You'd be paying $1.10 that there's a statue in Penrith for Paddy Cummins' head.
Mate,
I reckon you're on the money.
Yeah,
you're on the money, mate.
Australian cricket
captain, like
and a fast bowler as well. Like JB's just like literally hit the nail on the head. Like he can field, he can bat, and he can bowl, and that's, mate. What else do you want?
No.
And just remember how good his stats would have been. He spent a long time out of the game.
Yeah,
as well.
Good 5 years
like
out.
A good 5 years out. Like, he debuted when he was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
Then
changed his action.
Yeah.
So that's Hedo's hero for this week. Now, Young, and I did forget. Have you got a young gun? Sorry if I missed that through the NRL or AFL.
No, not for this week.
Because your man Garnacho got on for Argentina.
He did. I've been keeping a close eye on him. He did get on for Argentina, and
for both against Australia and China.
Yeah. He's kicking goals, mate. He's going to be something real special. So,
all right.
Look, I left you with we spoke earlier about the Hedo's hero, but I had no young gun for this week. I'm just still disappointed with Fred Fittler and our Blues team, mate. I'm going to fucking give it anyway.
Shut up, mate. Shut up. All right, let's move on to something you do know. And boys,
fuck off.
What you do know about, boys. Let's talk a bit of round ball and a bit of football. I don't know what you guys saw of it, JB. I know, we were texting after last week's podcast about Lionel Messi playing against Australia, and 77 seconds in, he puts one side netting. The bloke's a genius, boys. He is a dead set genius.
Mate, he's unreal.
Oh, he is. How old is he, Hedo? 35?
Yeah, 35, 36.
Yeah.
But you could see Graham Arnold telling the boys not to turn the ball over in the centre of the park. Just don't turn it over. And what do they do 70 seconds in? Turn it over. And where does it go? Goal.
Yeah, fucking great goal too.
But, boys, I want to give a bit of a rap, JB, and I know you obviously don't watch a lot of football, but you did watch that. A lot of those kids that were playing, mate, were from the A-League, right?
Yeah, okay.
And I know they lost 2-0, but they did take it to them. Young Geordie Boss, young'un that we spoke about, the left back.
Yeah.
Mate,
he had a blinder, absolute blinder.
Yeah.
That's why I had no idea where he was from, mate. I was like, who's this Boss fella? Because it was clear to see he was outstanding, apart from other players on the field. So
yeah. And look, a lot of the boys are underdone. Harry Suter hadn't played for a while, and we didn't have Aaron Moy in the middle of the park to settle it down at times. But
yeah.
I know we lost 2-0. I get it. It's a loss, but
it's not a bad scoreline either, though. Like,
we had a couple of chances to send it as well. So good on the boys. We will do some more on the Women's World Cup coming up because I think it's a big talking point. Melbourne's just sold 40,000 tickets already to the send-off game, Australia versus France, the Matildas versus France. Send-off game by meaning the last sort of friendly before the comp starts, before the World Cup starts. So 40,000 tickets already sold to that. So
that's massive, eh?
I think you're going to see a big change in the landscape of Australian football, especially female football, over the coming weeks, boys. So stay tuned.
100%.
And they do play some attractive football. But Young, a couple of things. Trent Alexander-Arnold in the midfield for England. England win the Euros.
Oh, I'll back that.
I'm on board.
Yeah. They're in cruise control when he's in the middle, man. Cruise control. So I'll be back in England for the Euros for sure. He's just got some vision, hasn't he, in the middle?
Mate, it was unbelievable.
And can finish. So.
Can finish. I think I'm on board. Young, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Who like England and who in the final?
Shit. Spain, Croatia.
Yeah, France.
Is it England's to
We've
lose?
just named every country. JB, you have a crack.
Oh, mate.
Mate, Germany are done. Netherlands are done.
Yeah.
Italy, nah.
Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland. They're doing well. God love them.
So while we're on that, Scotland top of their group.
Yeah. Best. It's the best bit of football Scotland's been playing in a very long time, mate. Can't remember the last time they've been top of a group for qualifications, and mate.
Andy Robertson's still dominating on that left, mate. He's
doing well, man.
He's doing well. Now, the big news, boys. Obviously, Ange has gone to Tottenham, left an opening at Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of noise around who was going there, but re-signed Brendan Rodgers. Young, and what's the chat been around? I guess family in Scotland and the news.
Obviously, very pleased. So, Brendan Rodgers is a former Celtic manager. He's won the treble with Celtic before, and he almost won the Premier League with Liverpool. So,
can coach,
and we've got some good players, and I have no doubt he's going to bring some better players on top of that. So, I'm going to put it out there, Brendan, where Celtic's going to be in the Champions League.
Yeah,
I reckon we will, and I reckon we're going to give it a shake with Brendan. Hopefully, we can make it out of the group stage.
I want to preface that, but Young, and I want to really preface that and say it's all Ange's making, right?
Oh yeah,
it's all Ange's making. So whatever Brendan Rodgers does from here, it's it's not what Ange has done, but Ange has rebuilt Celtic.
Yes, we were in a massive hole, mate, and Ange brought us out. So
a good deal for Rodgers around spend. I see they're going to commit to spending a certain amount of money in the transfer window. He got all Ange's assistants to stay, including Harry Kewell.
Yeah.
So they didn't go with Ange, so that's a big thing for them.
Yeah, absolutely, huge. I think it's only onwards and upwards for Celtic under Brendan. So very thankful for what Ange has done, and I hope he does well with Tottenham. But yeah, like you said, man, keeping the background staff with Brendan, and Brendan's got his ties with Leicester City. I'm already seeing things of Leicester City players looking to come over because Justin, Leicester City were relegated.
Yeah.
They get an opportunity to play for Celtic and potentially Champions League.
So for those at home, once they get relegated, at times their wages halve.
Yeah.
So once you go from the Premier League back to the Championship, you're not paid as Premier League player anymore.
Oh, that would suck for a lot of them.
Yeah. So
and the thing is, like Leicester City, they've got some top footballers.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, James Maddison's got to go.
James Maddison. So I'm reading things that James Maddison could be going to Newcastle United.
Yeah.
So a lot of those, do you find? Sorry to cut you off. Do you find when teams get relegated that they split up because a lot of the players want to go back and play for another team in the Premier League?
Correct.
Yes, absolutely.
So they don't ever stick together and try and get back up like you would.
No.
So you'll see a lot of those teams struggle to get re-promoted the year after.
Yeah,
because of that, it all just gets split.
It never. I can't recall of a time that's happened. Hedo.
No, mate. Look, it probably has, but no, you're right. Where they've gone down and come straight back up.
Yeah.
Look, it's not falling into. It's not front of mind. I can't remember, but that's why, because they want to be paid as Premier League players.
That's right.
They're used to earning their £100,000 a week. It's halved straight away. So, yeah. Boys, I want to quickly touch on before we wrap up and get into JB's joke of the week and our multi. Hedo's hero first time we did this a few weeks ago was the Central Coast Mariners. I want to quickly touch on it. They are a breeding ground for Australian footballers, lads. Grant Quayle was the big one, went to Newcastle, transferred to Newcastle. Nectar Triantis, just centre back, just transferred to Sunderland. And their academy keeper, Anthony Pavlicic, has just been signed by Bayern Munich. It's a massive deal, lads. Like, Youngin, and I know you know, but JB, it's not even spoken about in mainstream media, but those three especially is pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Is that credit to their agents or like the players' agents, or is it solely because they're watching the Mariners?
Yeah, watching them, because what's happening, Scott, is they're playing kids under 23. And Pavlicic is Pavlicic, to his credit, hasn't played an A-League game. I don't think he's played an A-League game, but he has been playing Joey's and Ollie Roos, right? So he has been in that window, and he did go for a trial in Bayern, and the news out of the trial was that Bayern were that impressed they wanted him straight away.
Wow.
So, and the Bayern Academy goalkeeper coach has come out and said he's basically got a big future on his hands. And they don't throw those comments around lightly, especially a big club like Bayern.
No. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
that's good.
I just think
it's piss poor from us, right? Like,
as Australian football fans, and look, we could spend a whole episode just talking about how poor Australian football is, but what we do, I think, need to talk about is just how good the actual footballers themselves are under the age of 23. And if they're given a go, what can happen? Because the Mariners just won a fucking title with most of their players under the age of 23. So,
there you go.
Yeah. So just wanted to touch on that, boys, at the end of the potty, just to pump up. There's a couple of others that I'll talk about over the coming weeks that look like they're going overseas as well. And I'll give a bit of a wrap up on the Joeys and Ollie Roos. They've been in camp and having a few games, and they're doing pretty well. So I'll keep you abreast of that over the coming weeks.
Yep, sweet, mate.
All right, the multi this week.
Yeah, look, just going for NRL.
Hang on, I want you to preface this. There's someone in this multi that you have had your foot on his throat since day one.
Yeah, I have.
And you're putting him in your multi.
Well, sometimes there needs to be a change.
JB, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I had to quick look and make sure it wasn't nothing to do with goal kicking first.
How many kicks missed?
I was gonna throw Ben Hunt in there for some money, but I don't even think he's gonna fucking play or pass the ball. So anyway, it is a Dragons game tomorrow night. I've got three anytime try scorers. Ravalawa, he's always, if he can catch the ball, he'll fall over the line. I've got Zach Lomax, my mate that can't. He's got 2 left feet. He'll do something.
He'll catch the ball with his feet.
He'll catch the ball, and then I got Sean Johnson from the Warriors to fall over the line, just solely because he doesn't do it for you, Hedo. So hopefully he does it for me.
Mate, I'm telling you, if Zach Lomax ruins this multi,
I'm quitting. No. You get another bleacher in, mate.
You can open the batting next week if Zach Lomax if Zach Lomax lets you down. You can open.
What if he scores?
He's the only one that scores.
Yeah, true. Mate, I've got 50 on it. It's paying $24.50. Returns $1,225. So
we've got to get something down. We've got to win one fucking week.
We haven't had one multi, and this has been going. How many episodes have we done?
50.
Anyway.
All right.
Gamble responsibly.
The more you put on, the more you get back.
That's it.
All right, our favourite part of the week, our listeners' favourite part of the week, the mock, JB's joke of the week.
All right, Scotty, listen carefully this week, all right?
All right. Oh, fuck,
If
do you get it?
If you say that again, JB, I am going to lose it. That was the funniest part of the joke last week. It's gone viral too, lads. It's gone viral too, youngin.
All right.
You slow it down for me, you fuckwit. Come on.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So a man dies and meets God before going to heaven. God asks the man if he's ever been unfaithful to his wife, to which the man replies that he has cheated on her several times. God then tells the man that in the afterlife, the man will only be given an old, crappy car to drive around. Another man dies, and the day he meets God, God asks the man the same question, to which the man responds, I had a brief moment of infidelity early in the relationship, but I've regretted it ever since. Seeing the man's remorse, God gives him a luxury sedan. At the end of the day, a final man dies, and God asks him the same question. This man, offended at even the thought, insists he's always been faithful to his wife and has never even considered the thought of betraying her trust. God is pleased to hear the answer, rewards the man with the top-of-the-line sports car. Some time passes, and the men are driving around heaven when the first two men notice the third man visibly upset in his sports car. They ask the man, why are you so upset? Here you are, driving around this amazing car. The man, in between tears, responds, yeah, but I've just seen my wife riding a skateboard.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
Yeah. You haven't missed yet. You haven't
Nah.
missed yet.
Where do you get them from, man? They're fucking fantastic.
Just searched the net and whatever.
Oh,
just
mate.
random topics come into my head.
That was a fucking good
Mate.
one. She's probably doing kickflips and everything, wasn't she?
She just got out of the half pipe.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Oh, well done.
We finished the show. We started flat, but I think we got through it in the end. Onwards and upwards this week, lads. Go on the Panthers, and I'm cheering home Zach Lomax to get across the stripe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brendan Hearns, another 80 minutes for the Para Eels coming up. I dare say he's going to see out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Playing 80 minutes. By the sounds of things.
We did leave that alone, so we do have to have a conversation around that next week. But yes,
yeah, we'll touch more, but it's looking good.
We're all aboard the hands you trained.
That's Absolutely.
All right, boys. See you next week.
All right, hooroo.
Ciao.